bone to pick, and surprisingly, it's with something that used to be my favorite hobby, my favorite thing to do. It's the movies. Like, for the first time in probably a few months, I went to the movie theaters with my wife to go see Twisters, and it's it's crazy now. When I was there, first I just want to show you a picture of what movies are showing. Notice this lineup of movies. It doesn't excite. It's not something that you see these movies and you're like, I have to go see one of them. I mean, we chose Twisters because it was what we thought would be the best of everything that's showing. And honestly, it probably was. It was actually a really good movie. But, and I'll do a review on that. But my point is, the reason the movies are struggling is because of lineups like this. If you just take this group of movies that's showing at this theaters and compare it to almost any other time, especially at the end of summer. Like, what happened to like summer blockbuster movies where you're excited, the whole family gets to go, and you go to the movies and enjoy yourself? So not only now are you paying that much money for movie tickets, it's like, I mean, by the way, this is matinee prices, like $8 for a fucking ticket. It's kind of insane. Then God forbid that you want to have something to drink or something to eat during a 2 hour long movie. You have to literally take out a second mortgage on your home to buy popcorn or buy a drink these days. And then they try to sell you on a membership that gives you 5% off, so you save like 10 cents. I mean, it's truly mind blowing, and it just feels like you're being nickel and dimed when you're at the movie theaters. I mean, you go there to kind of to escape from like life. At least that's what I do. You go to watch a great movie, something that will have you engaged and just take you away from the real world for 2 hours of your life, where you don't have to think about working or spending money, except for while you're there. It makes it really plain and clear that you're a brokey because you can't afford popcorn, or if you want two large popcorns to share between two people, you're trying to do the math and figure out if you're going to be able to pay rent this month. I mean, it truly is mind blowing, and I know a lot of people are going to say, "Hey, nerd, you don't need the popcorn or the drink. You can just go watch the movie. It is pretty affordable." I mean, yeah, you can, but it's the experience that we're missing now. It's the experience that we had growing up, or even in our teens. And I'm speaking from a millennial point of view, by the way, but the experience we had in our teens and young adult life is you could just take someone to the movies, get popcorn and a drink for like under $30. I mean, and that was like affordable. But now with two people, we dropped like $70 for two drinks, popcorn, and two tickets for a matinee. Still a matinee. I mean, Jesus Christ. And not to mention that the biggest movie so far, which also was a good movie, don't get me wrong, is Inside Out 2. But quick, there's no incentives to go have fun. There's no like buzz around anything. Like, the only thing left to be excited about in the movie theaters is probably Deadpool and Wolverine, right? Like, what other movie for nerds or anybody in general, what movie has really captured your attention? Like, you've seen it scroll by and it goes, "Come see this in theaters." You're like, "Oh my god, I gotta go see that in theaters." I mean, I can't think of one off the bat. Like I said, maybe Deadpool for the summer. I mean, I know our kids were excited to go see the Inside Out 2, but like, other than that, that's a remake. Like, and 90% of everything is a remake. Anything that's not like a remake or redone seems to be like given the short end of the stick somehow. Like, they greenlight it, but then they don't fund it correctly to fully visualize the idea behind it. Like, it's like half baked, and it's crazy is that a lot of these movies have good premises, they have decent actors or good actors, even kind of a decent like script for most of it, and then it just falls apart. It's like they're filming the movie. It's a new, genuine, good idea. Like, hey, we're gonna bring something new to the theaters, and then they get like halfway through the movie, like, hey guys, we're kind of getting close to the budget, ramp it up, and then it's like rushed. And I know that probably is exactly what's happening. Like, I have no doubt. But why, when the box office has proven that more unique movies have been the bigger hits, like Oppenheimer and Barbie, and you had all these things like that kind of really brought in the money. And a lot of times you can debate why you liked either movie or if you didn't like either movie, but the fact is that it was new, it was different, and you got people talking about it. And the summer used to be that time where you had a lot of these movies come out. The summer movies used to be the big thing you look to, like Marvel and stuff. And of course, don't get me started on that, like oversaturation and everything. But I just want my movies back. I want some low budget, unique movies that have good acting, good lines. I mean, I want you to really think about this. You can make great movies on low budgets that make a lot of money. And we have shown studios this before. I don't understand why they don't understand it. Like, Paranormal Activity, I think is probably one of the greatest examples in my lifetime I can think of. It had a super low budget. I don't know what the budget was, but I think it was like under $100,000. And that blew up like crazy. And that, honestly, that was one of the scariest movies because they didn't have a whole bunch of like crazy effects and stuff. Like there were, don't get me wrong, but the low budget of it made it more visceral and real. And I think that's true for even non-scary movies. I think sometimes the lower budgets are the ones that are actually speaking to us now. But the executives and the people that have the money and that are funding these movies, they only want like sure bets now because they're spending hundreds of billions of dollars on movies now. Billions with a B. So that they feel like they have to make sure it's a proven formula or it's a proven series like Marvel or something like that, and then they run it into the ground. And that's where we're at right now. They've run everything we've said, expressed like, oh, hey, we like this. And they're like, oh, you like it? Here's another helping. Oh, we're going to spread it out. Here's another helping. Then they just take the whole rest of the pie and just shove it in our face, and now we can't breathe, and you're choking on Oreo bits and throwing up. Flashback to pie eating contest. But anyway, there are crazy things that they're doing now, and it doesn't seem to me like there's anyone like practical sense that is just like, hey guys, why don't we just try some of these books that came out? There's tons of books that people love and adore, and they're making straight to streaming movies of it instead of making like decent ones. Like, for one, I'm advocating the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher. If you haven't read it, go read it. I'm actually re-listening to it on audiobooks right now, but that alone is like seven. I think we're in book 17 now or whatever, plus the side stories and stuff. Could make so many movies, and it's such a great like series. It's so well written. It honestly, I know this is about movies, but go get that book. Go read it. Go support it. It literally is probably the best book you're going to read about modern wizards and stuff. And there's things like that, I believe, are what people are looking for. They're looking for something that's similar, but not exactly the same franchise or the IP. Something they can get invested in, they become a new fan of, even if it's like just a cult hit. I mean, like Boondock Saints. Like, Boondock Saints for a long time was like a cult classic, right? You had people who loved it, and it was kind of niche for a long time. But then don't get me wrong, this is where I'm torn. I was excited that they made a sequel and everything for it, but then again, it kind of pulled away from that mystique and the magic of having that cultural just phenomenon of like cult classic, you know? And I don't think they're okay with leaving things like that anymore. Like Barbie, I think already has a sequel that they're talking about. I don't know if it's greenlit or whatever, but the best thing about like Oppenheimer is it's kind of hard to make Oppenheimer 2. Like, I think that's honestly probably one of the best ones. And it's not to say that these movies aren't good either. A lot of these movies that are in theaters are good. They're just not exciting. I know it's because they think that's going to go straight to streaming, so they shouldn't put a lot of advertisement behind it. But I didn't start seeing advertisement for Twisters until after I saw the movie. Then it started showing up like on TikTok and other things like that. Before that, I didn't even know the plot to Twisters, which is probably actually what made it a really great movie and fun for me. But I didn't even know the plot or the actors or actresses. It was just like, hey, Twisters, let's go see it, because we had to choose something, and it was the only thing that seemed decent. I think you can continue a franchise and give honor to it and kind of pay homage to it with new, fresh ideas or a different way of telling something, like telling a story from a different point of view, without just like literally regurgitating it and doing like fan service on everything. Like the difference between like homage and I think fan service is that the fan service videos that we've been seeing and crap that we've been getting, I mean, I'm looking at Star Wars too, is that these are people who know that we like Star Wars, but they're not fans of Star Wars. They just want to use it to make money. While you can tell the difference between like Twisters, which, like I said, was a really good movie, paid homage to Twister, the original. The difference is that in Twisters, they did a homage to Twister by making a great movie with the same premise, but you can tell the difference is that they were actual fans. That they're not just doing it to make money. Of course, they want to make money because that's like the end all be all of like making movies for most people, and you have to make money to make more. But they actually cared about the product. They had fun with the product, and it came across in the storytelling. It came across on screen. It came across in the writing and the chemistry of the actors. I mean, you can feel the difference, and I think this is what, if anyone is in Hollywood and watching this by any chance, this is what you need to do. Just find someone who nerds out over whatever you want to make and make them like a lead on it. But hey, I'm just a nerd. These are just my thoughts. But that's it.